anything bad that somebody could think about me, I've already thought it about myself. And
Mhm,
probably worse, and probably worse.
mhm.
I promise you, if you think that I'm a bad mom because I do this, this, or this, I promise you I've already second guessed it myself and
Yeah,
thought worse. Do you know how many
mhm.
times I've thought my kids would be better off with a different mom? Lamar probably wishes he never married me. Or there's somebody who could be a better wife or a better mom than what I'm being. So trust whenever I tell you, rein it in, trust whenever I tell you anything bad, which is so weird because then why do I even care? Because I've already thought the worst anyways. Welcome to Sisters in Session, where therapy meets sister talk and nothing's off limits. We're two sisters who overthink everything, laugh too loud, and try to make sense of life's chaos one session at a time.
Relationships and self-care to the messy middle of growing up. It's part heart to heart, part comedy hour, and all real talk with zero chill. Grab your coffee or drink of choice and settle in. It's time for your weekly dose of sisterhood and self-reflection.
Hey, Lex,
Hey, girl.
how are you?
You know what? We were just discussing this before we started. I am just like frazzled. I mean, think of like Miss Frizzle times two. Like, I'm just all over the place. Anyway, I'm just like a mess. Obviously, you just got a little taste. You just got a little taste. The ADHD is in full swing today, but that's neither here nor there. How are you?
Good. Yeah,
Okay,
it's a
so
busy
you're
day.
not frazzled at all.
Well, no. I think I've just had a shift where that's just who I am now. I'm constantly in a state of frazzled.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
that's fair.
I'm good.
Good. Love that.
So, couple things to catch up on from the
Yes.
last one that we said that we would. First thing I want to wrap up No Spend October. Done. Round of applause.
Good job.
We actually quit a week early.
Why would you do?
Well, it was like the last weekend of the fair, and that just is only that time.
Yes.
And we also had to put a deposit down on something, and so the kids needed clothes. I know that sounds stupid, but we got them some stuff like to start school, but they just needed like some cooler weather fall clothes, and it's just like we were just done. We made it, which October I think felt long. Like I feel like there was over 4 weeks. So I mean, all things considered,
Honestly, you did it. In my book, you did it.
thank you. I appreciate that.
Not a
So
problem.
wrap up that also. I need to update on what we did on date night, and you are going to share with us as much as you want. It can just be it was good, bad, or otherwise on the meeting the parents.
Yes.
Okay.
You go first.
Okay. Date night. We went to this little, like, dark, moody type restaurant first, and then which is super cool, super vibey. It was so much fun. And then we went we had, like, appetizers at that restaurant, and then we went to a really fancy restaurant. I don't remember what it was called, but it was, like, where you're paying a lot per plate.
Yeah.
And we got dessert and we got an appetizer. Oh my word. The appetizer was like Brussels sprouts in melted Gouda with giant chunks of bacon.
Is it Gouda?
It was so Gouda.
That does sound good for real. I love listen to me. I love a good Brussels sprout.
Me too.
Michael hates them.
Lamar's not a big fan, but he
Michael
liked
put in
those
his
ones.
Michael pu- Michael put one in his mouth one time and he was like, "Mm." I was like, "You hate it?" He's like, "I don't love it."
But it was really nice. And the kids had a great time with the babysitters, so they didn't even miss us. In fact, I think they were a little disappointed whenever we came home, which in my book is a win.
Mhm. 100%.
And it was really nice. So it was super great to just have some one on one time.
I love that. especially after a while of not having that.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. So important. I'll die on that hill. If you are not going on date nights minimum once a month, I have some thoughts, but that's another time. You met the parents.
And you know what? It feels so long ago.
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know why it feels so long ago that I met the parents, but I did. I did meet the parents. We had lasagna, which the recipe my aunt gave me for lasagna, I'm gonna tell you something right now. Felt like I was in the heart of Italy. But
You didn't use my idea for your lasagna?
what idea?
I told you specifically what to do.
Refresh my memory.
To add the pepperoni while you're cooking the hamburger.
I didn't. I didn't. Anyway, lasagna was delish. Also at Aldi, plug Aldi, I got some stuffed. Michael likes mushrooms. We're not going to judge him for that.
Mhm.
Stuffed spinach, artichoke, cheese mushrooms that you just like pop in the oven. Loved them. His parents both liked mushrooms, which is great. That really worked out. And we had garlic bread. And then for dessert, I made like an angel food, strawberry glaze, strawberry layered, the Cool Whip thing. They love that. But anyway, they were so nice. His mom brought me, she does like little crafts, and she brought me little earrings that she made, a bunch of those, and then some fun earrings. So sweet. His dad was so funny. We just had the best time and it went really, really well.
I love that. You're not gonna remember this because he is actually closer to my age than what he is to your age, and his brother was my age in school. But his mom, I distinctly remember, it was like elementary school. Shoot, what was it called? You would have at Christmas time, they had like the Santa's market or like
His
what was it?
workshop.
Santa's workshop. Yes. She's always been crafty, but she made things. Do you remember that snowman? I forget what it's made out of. Maybe a jar, but it has like the burgundy hat on it.
Yes.
I bought it at Santa's workshop for mom and she made it.
No.
Yes, small world, small world.
No world. I'll have to send her a picture when mom puts it out this year.
Yeah,
Such
yes,
a small world.
yes. I remember her helping me with my little money to buy it. Yeah, so
She is so funny.
yeah, she is so funny. And I did know that she was crafty. Yeah,
Wow.
who
Michael
would have
is
thought?
robbing the cradle. I'm kidding. It's just a couple years. I'm mature for my age. We're just
Yeah,
gonna disregard that.
no, that's absolutely what it is.
Yeah. Delusion.
That is funny though, because I just never thought of him being closer to my age. But I mean, there's not that
Yeah.
many years between us either. So
Yeah, but it is kind of weird though, right? I think it's kind of weird. It all worked out.
everything is exactly as it is to be.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. It definitely worked out for in my favor.
Well,
My
yeah.
favor. Well, yeah. What a man. What a
What a man.
man. What a man.
What a mighty good man. What a mighty good man. That was all.
It's all right.
I'm
All
proud of
right.
you.
Let's get into it. This is going to be our long awaited people pleasing episode and how you can't do it.
And
Even though
how just when you think you have conquered it, you get slapped in the face with something and you're like, dang it.
it's back.
It's back.
Hit us with the statistics, Tessa.
I actually don't have statistics. Because I mean, I feel like on everybody deals with this on some level, but I think it's on varying levels. Like, for instance, Lamar would say, and I would agree that he does not really care what people think about him much.
Mm.
Because I think that everybody does to some degree. Like, and his would be, and we haven't talked about this, so he'll just have to whatever whenever he hears this, but I think he cares about what the people that he works with thinks. Now, you might be thinking, doesn't everybody, like if you're a good employee? Yes, maybe, cuz I'm not going to share his business, but I think that he cares more than what he would need to just because I already know he's a good employee, if that makes sense. Like, he doesn't have to go above and beyond because he's already at the top level, if that makes sense.
Hey, yeah. Hype your man up, girl. Hype your man up.
So, but I would say that to some level, the most that I see him ever being like, "I want to be perceived this way," is at his job. And if that's all you do, good for you because it is in every single aspect. It is who I am. I don't want to give it that much power to be a part of my identity, but it kind of is.
But
so,
honestly, it's kind of saying.
so, where do you think that you fall? Or do you even know like how in depth it can be?
Do I? I'm not gonna lie to you. Surface value. I like to think that I don't really care, you know? But if we go deeper, like you said about being in depth, I hate to say it, but I think I care more than I think I do. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And I think that it goes deeper than what people realize because, first off, let me just preface this entire episode by saying that I'm currently in the middle of reading People Pleaser by Ginger Duggar Woolow, and I would highly recommend. But I'm in the middle of it, but I think that it sneaks up in ways that you don't even realize. Let's start there. I want them to like me.
Mhm.
It's so much more in and it shows up in so many bigger ways that you don't even think of to where all of a sudden you realize how and let me I'm saying you, but I'm talking about me. So I'm not talking to you, Lexi, or you as a society. I'm talking to Tessa. But like you realize how much it is literally ingrained into how you live your everyday life. And it is wild. It is discouraging, but it's also you have something to work towards to get through it. So, anyways, I would say that it is a huge part of my life. And it comes out in my life in ways that I didn't even realize were people pleasing tendencies until some things were brought to light. However, I will say I do think I have made progress.
I would say so, yeah.
Let me give you a story to show where how I see it in my life. A small to most people silly story. So, and I'm going to try to keep it close. I mean, try to keep it short. I have been praying all day. I'm like, God, please just let me get my thoughts across smoothly and like clearly because I'm so bad at that. But, anyways, Lamar, for those of you who don't know, he made me a custom keyboard, like for work. I got to pick out like the key weight, the keycaps, all of that fun stuff. Around that same time, we also both got MacBooks. And with the MacBook, he will tell you, and statistically, the keyboard on a MacBook computer is statistically like the best. They're just the way they are laid out, their size, their spacing. I don't know what it is, they're very nice to type on for a laptop. So these two things happened pretty close together. And I like both of them for different reasons. My daughter randomly asked what was my favorite thing to type on. And the way I spiraled so quickly in my mind, because I was like, I literally never once thought, which one do I like the best? This is no joke. And this sounds so crazy now, but I'm going to give you a glimpse into how I processed it. Well, Lamar made me this really nice keyboard and I really love it. There's so many things that I love about it. I like the way it feels. I like the way it types. He also thinks that the MacBook keyboard is so nice and is such a good keyboard that he would put it up against most other keyboards. So I wonder if he thinks that it's the MacBook keyboard that I should like better, or if he thinks that I should like the one that he made me better since I picked out the keycaps and the weights and all of that thing. Like I wonder which one he thinks that I should say that I like better. And I literally that was my thought process was which one does he want me to say I like the best? And would you believe I finally and that was all happening within like 5 seconds. You know how your mind works.
Yeah.
And I was like, I guess the MacBook keyboard. And he was like, that's nice. Why did I make and he was just joking, but he was like, why did I spend so much time and money making you this? And I was like, I don't know. I like both of them. I really like that one too. I just thought that you wanted me to say like this wild.
Yeah. No, you need medicated.
I don't think they make medicine for that.
I think it's twinge of ADHD or something. You need medicated. Your brain should not be working like that. Okay, so yours is, significantly, I dare to say, worse than mine.
Yes, it is a deep, well, I'll do the callback now to whenever at the church that I don't even remember who asked me in Texas, like we said, about what my hobbies were. And I was like, what does she want me to say? Like what would she perceive as an interesting hobby or whatever the case may be? Crazy. Like I am constantly thinking about what other people want me to say, what they want me to be, how I want them to see me, that I don't even know who I am.
Yeah, no, that's terrifying. It's terrifying that what's terrifying to me is the way that in those 10 seconds that Addie Grace asked you a fairly simple question, you like you lost it. In your mind, you spiral.
100%. And I wasn't trying to think it would be one thing if I was like, "Okay, well, I like this about this one, and I like this about this one," kind of processing my own opinions on the keyboards. Not at all. Not at all. What answer was I going to give that would make Lamar the happiest, regardless of how I actually felt?
That is wild.
Yeah, no, it's a heavy cross to bear. And the more I like read and come to understand like all the different things that show itself as people pleasing, I'm like, I don't even know. I don't even know who I am without thinking about what do other people want me to like? How do other people want me to dress? What do they think that I should be interested in? What do they think I should like? How do they think I should mother? How do they think I should wife? Now, I will say in a lot of ways, I have made improvements. I pretty much don't care about what people think about how I dress. I pretty much am very confident in my relationship as a wife and a mother. I mean, there are days that I fail in mothering and well, in both, but like at its core, I'm
Mhm.
confident in how I show up in those spaces. But it's so I guess like in my home, I'm pretty good.
In
Anything
my
else?
safe place, in my lair, I'm great.
People pleasing? We don't know her here. But then you get outside these walls and not even physically because social media and phones. And so you can be outside your walls, inside your walls. So there is that aspect. So I would say in a lot of ways I have gotten better,
Mhm.
but then I also have a long way to go. Case in point. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm going to do a lot of talking this episode.
Speak your truth.
That's a terrible phrase. The truth is the truth is the truth. There's no
What?
my truth and your truth. The truth is the truth.
Okay, speak your heart.
Okay, that I can do.
Perf. Let her fly.
So, I thought that let me just give an example again. So, it's no secret, it's no surprise that I dress differently than how I was raised. Not your face.
You could have given me a trigger warning. Okay. Let her keep going. Speak your heart.
So, what I'm saying is, I'm using that as an example because, so for those of you who don't know, I share outfits, clothes, that kind of thing. So, I do that. On this page, I share clothes, I share outfits, have a great time doing it. It is something that I thoroughly enjoy. It's part of who I am. Having said that, I will say this just as a reason for a bigger point. There are people who follow me who I think disagree with how I dress, and that's fine. We can all have our own opinions, and that's going to be what it is. So, the point of me saying that was I felt like if I changed some certain things or incorporated other things into that page, that then maybe they would like it. Not even just physically liking it, like hearting it or whatever, but like liking me,
Content.
liking the content, not liking me, liking the content. And so because, and I will get into this later, a lot of things about how I was raised and a lot of my own, I'm not speaking for anybody else's experience, my own experience, a lot of it came back to things within the church. Good things, not so great things. Again, I'm talking my experience. I'm not putting a whole veil over anything like that. That's not my intentional. I mean, my twin sister does not have the same experience that I do. So it's not like it's, and I'm just going to leave that at that. So I think a lot of my people pleasing tendencies and problems came from my own experience within that environment. And a lot of things have happened in my life, but I just feel like I so desperately need,
Validation.
yeah, like I need somewhere along the line and deeply rooted within me is I need them. And this is where it's a problem. I need some of those people, maybe just the idea as a whole, I need them to take me seriously and believe me as a Christian. So, having said that, let me back up. So, I wanted them to like the content physically, even if they were just like, oh, like, I love that she's doing that. So, I started reading the Bible.
Mind you, she read the Bible anyway.
Yeah, yeah. I started reading the Bible on Instagram and TikTok. I would record a certain scripture, maybe talk about it, maybe just read the verses.
Sweet girl. I didn't know that's why you did that.
Well, if you notice, I stopped doing it because of my revelation.
Yes. Go on.
So I was trying to do that every day. So mind you, I do bulk record most of my outfit videos, but the Bible reading, I wanted it to be authentic, so I would do it every day. And that did not get the validation that I wanted from a small group of people. And so I was like, well, maybe I can make coffee videos and maybe they'll like those. And just, and so I was posting like at least 2 times a day on Instagram and TikTok, desperately trying to get some sort of validation because I knew that they didn't agree with what I was wearing. Listen, if you're listening to this and I have perceived that wrong, please tell me. It's fine
You
if that
probably
is.
did. You probably did.
You are welcome to your opinions and you whatever. So, but I was frazzled. I was finally like, I cannot do a Bible reading video every day, plus a coffee, plus the outfit. I will do the Bible reading Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I'll do a coffee video Tuesday, Thursday, plus an outfit every day. And then we started this podcast, and I'm just like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And we were in church like a couple weeks ago whenever I said about this last time. My mind may have been like drifting. I have no idea if this is even something that was being talked about, but all of a sudden it was just like I was smacked in the face because, and I even tried to tell myself, I'm like, no, like this is a good thing. Like putting the Bible out on the internet, like if I'm going to be online, like at least I'm putting out something good.
Mhm.
And literally it was like, why? Like, you're not doing this for me. Like, you are not doing this for me. You are doing it more or less like you think you've got that people pleasing under control. You are literally doing it in a desperate attempt for them to validate your Christianity. And I haven't posted a Bible reading video since, nor a coffee video. That doesn't mean that I will never do either of those things again because it was hard. Because I was like, "Ugh, reading the Bible, like it's a good in its face, that is a good thing to
Mhm.
share that with people that you would never encounter regularly. But my motives and the reason why I was doing it was way off base.
Mhm.
And even in that, I still didn't get the validation that I thought that I might.
Mhm.
It just is what it is. Whatever. If that is how you think that you can justify or not, I disagree, but that is what it is. So I said all of that to say that sometimes I thought I had a better hold on it than what I did. But in that, I overcame that part of it because now I'm just like, you know what? It really is just going to be what it is. I don't even know. I have to come to grips with the fact that I may never be taken seriously by a very large part of my life. It's so important to me, like my walk with God and Jesus and like that love that I, and so to not be taken seriously really, really hurts. but I just have to let that go. Like, I just have to let that go.
And right now, you're about to see the difference between me and my sister. She's sweet. She wants you to like her. When it comes to my family, and I think I spoke on this in the friendship episode, if you're my friend, you're my family, but if you're my family, you're my family. If you're listening to this and you
Let
feel I'm not going to say anything. Just trust me. If you're listening to this and you're thinking to yourself, that could be me that she's speaking of. And even if you're not, in general, if you disagree with someone or something they wear or something they say or how they act, I'm going to need you to check your heart and look in the mirror. Okay? Every man is perfect in his own eyes, right or wrong. So what she's doing or what she's wearing is really none of your concern.
yeah.
Focus on you, and this is to you. I'm speaking directly at you. Focus on you and do you. And I know it's so much easier said than done when it comes to like being like, just don't worry about it. Don't think about what they say. I understand it's harder to do than it is to just for me to just say, hey, don't worry about it. But like, seriously, what is it gonna matter? In the end, what does it matter? And I know, you want everybody has that desire for people to like them and support them and things like that. And I get that. I completely get that. Like, you don't want to be hated. You don't want to, like, nobody wants to be hated. But also, don't lose yourself in trying to please other people because that's not fair.
And that's the problem.
Yeah.
And so having said all of that, and I think anytime I share something about this, I think people think that I'm talking about like actual liking the video, like I care about that. Listen, guys, for reference, there are times I post a video on Instagram and I am the only one liking it from my other page. It's not about that. Like, it's not about that at all. If I cared about like count, so it's not even that I'm just like, nobody is liking my post. Nobody, like, it's not about that. It's about my issue with caring or seeking the validation from people whenever that's not the purpose at all. So, this is not about the fact that you're not physically liking my stuff.
Yeah.
Just putting
Dig
that out
deeper,
there.
people. Let's
But
look at the big picture. I said dig deeper, people. Look at the big picture.
yeah, I could trust me. I don't. If I cared about that, I would have given up a long time ago. So then, and I do want to plug this in because I think sometimes it's important to also realize that, and you can make excuses because I think more people struggle with people pleasing and they won't even admit it.
Hmm.
Just so you know, people pleasing very easily becomes an idol. And if there's one thing I think we can all agree on, whether, because apparently nobody can agree on, and this is not just about like how we grew up, I'm talking Christianity across the board. Nobody can agree on what to wear, when you should go to church, this and that. I mean, the gray areas will divide places, but I think we can all agree that the Bible very clearly says that you cannot have idolatry. If you find yourself that focused, and me, again, not you, focused on people's perception, opinion of you, you may want to consider that you are more concerned with that than what God thinks of you. And if that's the case, might I say, you may have put people pleasing as an idol above God. And again, I'm just speaking to myself here. This is me. I told Lexi before we even started this. I said I'm kind of nervous because this is such a thorn in my side. And it's vulnerable for me because it seems so stupid. Like, why do you care so much? I'm not going to read the verses, but if you want verses, you can read Galatians 1:10, 1 Thessalonians 2:4, and I think it's Matthew 6 where Jesus himself actually speaks and says about serving, you can't serve two masters. He's referencing money at the end of that verse, but the point still stands. So, anyways, having said all of that, do you have anything to add so far?
I just think this episode is going to really, like I said, show the differences between us. We're a lot alike. Anyone will tell you that. We are a lot alike. Don't look alike, obviously, but because I again, we all want people to like us. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I never am like, I don't know why they have a problem with me. But I it just makes me so mad to hear you saying all of this because I obviously you see your family for the best that they are. I'm not saying that. But like well, well, but like I am so mad because I have a feeling and I could be wrong. I could be. Some of it is coming from a place of jealousy. I'm jealous of you too, babe. You're a smoke show. But like, get a grip. I just
For the record, I'm not saying that.
well, no, this is the differences. This is nice. We have a little bit of a different, you know, vibe on things here. I don't think that people are really seeing you for who you are sometimes, and that really upsets me because you come from such a good place and you would never ever act like that towards someone else, and I'm starting to get my blood pressure starting to go up.
It all stems from personal experience just because of like within myself, but like just some ways that it could show up in your life and you might not even like realize it. So one way is I'm just going to actually read this. This is from her book, so I'm not taking credit for this. These are Ginger's words. This is because this is where I'm at. We've talked about how I am trying to form connections and make new friends. I'm trying to root myself in this new area. And I want to do it genuinely, and I don't know how because it just very few of my friendships have been like you and Tori, obviously, and like some other ones, but like so few of them have been just like pure friendships. No acting, no hiding, no nothing, just open, honest friendships. And they're great. And I want a physical person in this area or a couple. And in order to do that, I need to overcome some of my own things. So here's what she says. As hard as it can be to admit this, I was being pretty transactional. I was giving to get. That's hard to confess, but I can't deny it when I look at my inner dialogue. I was trying to buy friendship with my good deeds. I was trying to get a certain response out of people by all my do-gooding, whether that be the perception I wanted them to have of me or their willingness to help me in some way or any other type of acknowledgement I wanted from them. There's a word for it, and boy, do I not like it, but here it is: manipulation. When we do something with an expectation that it will drive someone's behavior or emotion the way we want it to, when we do something with a high calculation that it will get us what we want, that's manipulation. I think that's where all the burnout and resentment and frustration started to really build up in me because I was doing all of this stuff thinking that there would be a return. Sound familiar to the story I just told about myself?
Manipulation is such an ugly word too.
The terrible word. I would say that I don't struggle with like the physical, like, I love, for example, small example, like I love to give gifts. If I buy you a Christmas gift, I don't expect, okay, this is not to my siblings because I buy them all birthday gifts and none of them bought me anything. So this is just true. I'm a little upset about that one, but like Christmas gifts or stuff like that, I don't expect.
Come on. I did buy you something. They canceled my order. I don't want to hear it. And I just didn't order a new one.
Okay, so did I get a birthday gift or not from you?
Moving on.
Anyways, but like seriously, like maybe it's just like I love to give gifts. And I love to give like random, like I might randomly send you a coffee or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't expect a physical reciprocation. Where I get in trouble is if I act this way to you or if I do this thing for you, what will you think of me? Not what will you do for me? I don't struggle too much with that. What will you think of me? Will you think that I'm a good person? Will you think that I'm a good friend? Will you think that I'm a good Christian? Will you think that I'm a good mom? Will you think that I'm a good wife? I'm constantly, or not, I'm trying to not constantly do things just specifically for that. And how would I ever know? Literally, unless somebody says, I think you're really good at this. What am I doing wasting my time on that? Because I would never know unless somebody
Mhm.
says, hey, you're doing this, this, and this really well. And people just, I mean, every once in a while, but like people don't just do that. So I'm literally on this circle. And for what? I'll never get the satisfaction that I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I'm getting worked up.
No. No, and, like, that one hurt a little.
See, and that's what I was saying, where sometimes I think it shows up where people
Yeah.
don't realize it.
Well, yeah, because, for example, I like to do things for Michael. Love it. I like to clean for him. I like to, do his laundry. I like to do all these things. But because, first of all, mainly because I love him with my whole heart. I do it because I love him. But also, he literally never fails to validate me doing those things by saying, "Hey, wow, the house looks really nice," or "Hey, wow, thank you so much for doing my laundry." And, like, while I'm thinking about it right now, if he didn't say that.
Yeah, she literally says, like, further down, she specifically says about, like, listen, I'm telling you, I'm not even through the book, but I recommend, and not just if you're like, so Lexi, now there's just like a little bit that you're like, maybe like, I'm not talking if you're on my level of like struggling with people pleasing. I just think that it's a tendency for all of us, and I think it's really beneficial to read it. So buy the book. But she specifically says, like, it's not wrong. It's not wrong to want the appreciation for doing something. It's not wrong to feel good whenever somebody notices it and says it.
Mhm.
The problem is when we do it strictly looking for that, and then whenever we don't get it, then all of a sudden we're spiraling. She says approval seeking is a tough, unforgiving, and unfair taskmaster. And I'm going to blame this a little bit on being the eldest daughter again. Because to me, like, I equivocate productivity as love and worth. What I can do for you will then earn me your approval and your love and me feeling worthy. Wild. How can I be the best Christian I've ever been and still be struggling with the fact that, like, my worth and identity comes from God?
Do you think our mom's gonna listen to this?
I don't know. Our dad will.
Our dad will, but I think it comes from, and I'm not blaming our mother for this, I'm not, but, like, anytime we cleaned, just for example, anytime we cleaned, we got the validation. "Wow, thank you for cleaning this. Wow." If we didn't, it was like, "What did you guys do today?" And not in that way. I just she's an angel sent from the heavens above. She deserves every good thing. I love that woman with my entire heart. She is love. She is light. She is I cannot say good enough things about my mother.
Time out. Speaking of her, I meant to say this at the beginning. We did not record this in person. We were
No.
we were together. I'm not going to take up too much time for this. I meant to say it at the beginning. We were together this past weekend. We had our podcasting recording stuff. Just some things with mom, and it just didn't happen. So if you happen to see a clip of this, yeah, disappointing. We are not recording this together, but go on. Yes, mom is an angel.
Yes, she is, the light of my life. Michael says it all the time. She's like, "She deserves the world. She's amazing." I'm like, "Yes, I know." And she is. But I think part of that problem, again, not blaming her wholly, because at some point you just have to take responsibility for yourself and be like, "Hey, it's not like that. Your worth is not measured by your productivity." But
Listen,
I
I
do
will
think.
still, sorry,
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I will still catch myself, like, if I just happen to have finished doing something and I'm like scrolling my phone or sitting and Lamar
Mhm.
comes back from like picking up Addie Grace or something, I'm jumping up or I'm putting
Mhm.
my phone down, lest he think that I am not being productive.
Dude,
Wild.
this is all the time in this house. I'm not kidding you. If we're here and he's here, even when he's not here, I'm still doing it because I'm talking to him and I'm like, he'll be like, he asks me what I'm doing all the time. "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'll be like, it's so much nicer to say I'm cleaning up the kitchen than it is to say sitting on the couch.
Yeah, I needed a minute. I'm just sitting down.
And but that's the thing. He tells me all the time. He's like, "Why don't you like take a break? Like, why don't you sit down?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine." By the end, I look haggard. I look like Cinderella. And he's just like, "I don't know why you push yourself so hard." And I'm just like, "I don't know either."
Well, look at you, you little people pleaser. Welcome to the
I know,
club.
I know, but it's not even him that I'm pleasing. So who am I trying to please?
I think in a way you probably are because you are assuming that he
Yes.
expects this or thinks that you either are lazy if you're not, or
Yes.
yeah.
And he
You think Lamarck thinks that? I mean, he'll joke about it. He'll for sure say, like, he'll walk in if I'm on my phone in my office, he'll be like, wow, you're really busy today. And I'll be like, just leave me alone. But like, he doesn't think that.
he I don't even think yeah. No, he doesn't think that. I know he doesn't think that. He would never think that of me. He is so appreciative of everything I do. He literally has to tell me to take a break, to relax.
Are you ready for another way that I'm afraid? Just knowing you, that I'm afraid is a sign of people pleasing that you, among others, among myself until I started looking into it, doesn't realize.
I don't want to know.
So, in people pleasing, there are two ways that this tends to play out. The one side of it is you are go, 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 doing all the things, being all the things, taking on everything, volunteering, running this, doing this. You're doing so much because you're constantly seeking that approval. I hope they see what I'm doing. I hope they think that I'm a good mom. I hope they think that I'm a good this. I hope they see that I'm involved in the church. I hope they see me serving. I hope they blah 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 blah. And you get burnt out. You get run down. Sometimes it starts like that and ends like this, or sometimes it just goes either way. The opposite side of that, and this is kind of where I know I'm at. This is where I was
Is
at in
this where
Texas.
I'm at?
Yes.
Perf.
You retreat and you stop doing everything because you are so tired. And so instead of putting yourself in the position to be judged or criticized or having somebody think badly of you, you just don't do anything. You hide away, you don't make friends, you don't put yourself out there because it's really hard to keep up the image of what you want people to perceive you are. Every day you walk out the door, again, not you, me, you walk out the door and you put on your face. You put on everything is good, everything is great. I am such a good mom. I am such a good wife. I am such a good Christian. I am such a good this. I am such a good that. And it gets really, really tired. So instead of doing that, you just retreat because if you keep people at arm's length, then they don't ever see the real you, your flaws, your imperfections, your things that you don't like about yourself. And so that's the other side of people pleasing, where you can go, 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 constantly trying to keep up the image. And you get so exhausted by that, or that doesn't even sound appealing that you would just rather do the opposite and just keep people from thinking what they could possibly think about you. Here's the thing with that, and which is in some ways it does seem make sense because I promise you, anything bad that somebody could think about me, I've already thought it about myself.
Mhm.
And probably worse. And probably worse. I promise you, if you think that I'm a bad mom because I do this, this, or this, I promise you I've already second guessed it myself and thought worse. I thought worse. Do you know how many
Mhm.
times I've thought my kids would be better off with a different mom?
Mhm.
Or Lamar probably wishes he never married me. Or there's somebody who could be a better wife or a better mom than what I'm being. So trust whenever I tell you, rein it in, trust whenever I tell you anything bad, which is so weird because then why do I even care? Because I've already thought the worst anyways.
Mhm.
So it doesn't really make sense. But it's just me. It's just me thinking those things about myself. How awful would it be? How much
Mhm.
more life shattering could it be if somebody else was thinking those things? It doesn't even make sense. And so the thing is, though, the reason we do that is because if I'm hard enough on myself, if I'm really hard on myself, if I'm so hard on myself, then it's like
Whatever
a
they think
barrier.
won't.
Whatever they think, it can't hurt me as bad as what I already think about myself. I don't know if you've picked up on a theme. Let me say this real quick before I move on. Usually, whenever our gauge of how we judge ourselves is so high, we inadvertently are using that same gauge to judge other people. Wild. And so true. So
Mhm.
true. Because the standard I have myself at, I'm also holding you to, not you. Maybe you. I'm also
Great. Perfect.
good luck. Good luck. Also judging every other person against that same standard. For what? Honey, I'm not even reaching it. But then at least I'm not the only one who's failing. At least you're failing too. Now, the common theme about all of this is I don't know if you've heard it. I heard it a little bit ago whenever I was talking about being hard on myself. Is it's so wrapped. Another word. We don't like manipulation and we don't like selfishness. But honey, at the root of people pleasing is manipulation and selfishness. Why can't I say selfishness?
Selfishness.
And those are two dirty, dirty words. I don't like those words. I don't
Mm-mm.
like even thinking that those words are associated with me.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever you are so focused on if I do this, how will they perceive me? If I go here, what will they think of me? If I wear this, how will they think I look?
Mm-hmm.
If I take my kids here, will they think that I'm a good mom? It's always keeping myself at the forefront of my mind. Of my mind. It's always like it's always about me. Me. How am I perceived? What am I doing? How do they think that I am? Do they think that I'm good enough? Do they think that I'm doing enough? Do they think that who cares? It's so
Yeah.
selfish. And did you ever hear that you can be so humble that you're selfish? Like
Yes.
I'm so ugly. I'm so
Yeah.
this way and I'm so that way and my hair's so thin. My eyes are too close together. My waist is too big. My legs are too chubby. These are my own thoughts, guys. I'm not putting these on anybody else. But like I'm so ugly. Nobody would ever blah blah blah. But like, yeah, I'm degrading myself, but all I'm focused on is myself.
Mm-hmm.
So like you're not humble at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where people pleasing is so rooted in selfishness. And I really hate that word. I hate that that is a thing. Like it makes me want to overcome this so much more
Yeah.
because I can't focus on doing good or I can't focus on anything else if that's the root of the problem until I overcome this. And I do
Mm-hmm.
think it's getting better. But then every time I read something or I come across a thought, I'm like, yeah, girl, you still got some work to put in. Well, because I mean, think about it, Lexi. This is going back to how we were raised and the church environment that we were in. Again, please hear me if anybody from that church or area is listening. This is my experience. This is not a,
Universal.
it's not,
One size fits all
right. No,
situation.
I'm not speaking bad about I'm speaking about my experience. I'm not speaking bad about the church itself, the people, the church, the whatever. But how important was it, at least for me, in my experience, it felt like the most important thing was to look like you had it all together. My entire growing up years, so focused on making sure that I looked like physically looked good enough for their approval. By the way, I'll just tell you, you'll never live up to it. Not theirs, anybody's. Again, my experience, please don't think that I'm bad mouthing anybody there or anything about how I was raised. It's not that at all. My experience, my takeaway was that it was always more important to look like you had everything together than to actually worry about whether or not you did on the inside. Again, my experience. So those are the things that I struggled with. That's what I had to overcome.
Mm-hmm.
Still working on it. But in that, whenever that is the focus, then the real struggles, the real internal things get pushed and hidden and shoved to the back and end up over in years down the road showing up in ways that you didn't even realize, causing a lot of like distance and for what? For what? I'm going to talk about K-pop Demon Hunters real fast. I had to watch it so that I could know if I wanted Eddie Grace to watch it, and I'm still not sure. So I'm the only one who's watched it. Whether or not they meant it to be an actual representation of like Christians, non-Christians, hell, demons, whatever the case may be. I have no idea what the intention was behind the movie, but you could very easily make the connection that it was that.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that the demons were getting the people or like stealing their souls was through hiding the things that they didn't like about themselves, shame, and feeling like they were too much.
Hmm.
And if that isn't at the root of people pleasing and where I don't like to put the church, and by the church, I mean like the church of like the body of Christ. If that isn't where we are failing,
Mhm.
because heaven forbid somebody know or see you do something,
Mhm.
and shame is what will kill you.
Mhm.
So, I don't even know how to start to wrap this up because just stop. Stop
Yeah.
trying to be perfect. Me. Again, talking to me here. Stop trying to be perfect. And especially as me, I'm trying to make these new connections. I have really got to be willing to put myself out there genuinely. Does that mean that I go trauma dump and overshare on the first person I talk to? No, but I promise I'll struggle to do that.
Never promise that'll be in my mind.
Because I think that you can sometimes, I mean, you could overshare to the wrong person. Not me just oversharing to the entire podcast world or anybody who listens to it, but so does that mean the first time you go have coffee, you tell them your deepest, darkest insecurities or that you're a chronic people pleaser? Maybe not. They'll figure it out probably. But just like be yourself and be willing to say, "Hey, I really struggle." Again, maybe not the first time, but just be open to forming the connections genuinely. Be genuine when hiding behind this facade.
Yeah. Just be who you are. So I was thinking about that movie, about what you said, and the last thing that you said was that they took people or they used it that thought they were too much. And I think if you know me, if you're first meeting me, I'm probably not going to seem like too much. Too much. I'm going to keep putting the quotes because I think it's just who you are. I don't think you're too much or too little. I think you are who you are and that's just, that is what it is. But I think that a lot of times whether people came right out and said, "Hey Lexi, you're being too much" or not, and they've said it, and I'm just going to let you know it didn't feel good because you have that in you where you're like, "Oh, but I want them to like me." But I don't want him to think I'm annoying. I don't want him to think I'm, too loud or too out there or too different or too my hair's not fixed enough or that was a thing. So without maybe coming right out and being like, "Hey Lexi, you're too much." They would be like, "Oh, well, you could probably tone it down a little." And I did not like that. And I think for a while I kind of watered myself down. Maybe not all the time, but around those people for sure. And I feel bad for those people because they have probably never seen me for who I am. Whether that is too much for them or not, that's not my problem. And I think that it took time, but I got to that point and I'm now at that point where, okay, you think I'm too much, you think I'm too loud, you think I'm too dramatic. That's a you problem because that's not a me problem. If you don't like it, don't hang out with me. That's completely fine. I have 6 friends anyway. So, like, I'm not going to lose sleep over the fact that you think I'm too loud or too dramatic. You know, I was blessed with a dramatic flair from someone who was dramatic. I'm not talking about my mother. She is dramatic. Love her. She's dramatic. I am talking about someone who, well, my grandmother. She had a dramatic flair. And I do not feel bad about my dramatic flair because you know what? I didn't even think of her until the one day mom had said something along the lines. We were talking about something like this. I was like, well, they said, blah, blah, blah. And my mom's very good at making me feel better when I am like doubting who I am because genuinely, my mom loves all of us, obviously, but like her and I are pretty close because I think we struggle with a lot of the same things, so we kind of have that connection. But she's very good at being like making me feel better, which is great, and I need that a lot. Probably more so than she likes. But the one time I had, brought this up, whatever, whatever. And she was like, "Everybody liked your grandmother." And she's like, "If they didn't like her, she didn't care. She was who she was." And it was something along the lines of, this is so funny. It's something along the lines of like being dramatic or like being, louder or like having a louder laugh, whatever. It was something like that. But she was like, she was who she was and she didn't change who she was. And whether people like it or not, we might have to clip some of this because I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but you get what I'm saying. Whether people like it or not, we'll be carrying on that traumatic legacy.
Well, and that's what I was saying last week whenever I was trying to wrap up my take it or leave it thoughts. Whenever I was trying to say, because whenever I was younger, whatever I had said last week, and that's kind of what I was rooted in. I always just felt like I was too much. I dressed up too much. I'm an overdresser. It just, people should
And
have
let's
seen this
say
coming.
something. She dresses for the occasion. If you don't like that, don't go to the occasion because
I
she's
got made,
gorgeous.
I got made fun of it for that too.
Mhm,
So, I mean, it just, so yes, I totally agree with what you're saying. I still tease Lamar. He'll say something and I'm just like, what? Yep. Or not too much, not enough. So I didn't
mhm,
take it that way, like where I was like, too much of this instead of being like too dramatic. I just was not calm enough. Like I took it the other way again because I was holding myself to other people's standards. So I was like, I'm not enough of this way for them, not enough. So instead of like where you took it like, oh, I'm just like too much, I was just the opposite. I was like, I would take the opposite of whatever was too much, and I would be like, I'm not enough of that. I
mhm.
still tease Lamar. He'll say something. I'm just like, Not good enough for you. I'm not good enough for you."
Yeah, but I do fully at this point, and I'm not saying I don't struggle with some of the things that you mentioned, especially a lot of the deeper rooted things, but at this point, I am who I am, and that is either gonna be good enough for you or it's not. I It might bother me for maybe 2 minutes if I really saw potential in a friendship with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're like someone I barely ever talk to and you're like, "You're a little too much." I'm gonna be like, "But I am proud to carry on that legacy. I hope that if someday I have a daughter, she carries on that legacy and just I never want her to feel like sometimes that you and I have felt. But also, eventually, someone's gonna say something to her, I'm sure. I'll just be like, "I've been there, girl. I felt it. But honestly, I know you don't see it now, but it really doesn't matter. It
Yeah.
literally does not matter." And I think that's the basis of all of this. What matters is what God thinks of you. That's what matters. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks of you. It doesn't matter what anyone else has to say about you because people are gonna yap. I'm telling you right now, people are gonna yap. And I'm going to say this, and until you feel it in your soul and until you have that day of reckoning, you are absolutely not going to believe this, but it does not matter. It does not matter. And that's why my take it or leave it last week was so personal because I do wish that sometimes I could go back and just hold younger me and just be like, doesn't matter. It does not matter. But it doesn't. And I just wish more people like these little things that people struggle with. And I'm not diminishing people's struggles because everybody has their struggles. And for you, you might be struggling with something that feels really big to you, but to me, I'm just like, yeah, I don't really, whatever. I'm not diminishing that. And I'm not saying that. But this specific situation, this specific topic, it really just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if someone likes your post or not. That's a them problem. A lot of the times it's a them problem. Now, when we worry about it too much and we kind of obsess over it, then it becomes an us problem.
Right, and it has nothing to do with them.
Not a single thing. At that point, it's you versus yourself.
Well, and that's exactly what I was saying. Because I don't care about the like. It's not about the fact that you don't like it. It's about the fact that, like, I think that you are not giving me the approval that I so desperately, apparently, think that I need from you, and that's where it's like, it's absolutely right, it's not their problem, it's my problem that I
Yep.
have to deal with.
Right.
Well, I just don't think I wish people would realize, and again, this really has nothing to do, this is just a fun little tidbit for yourself. You are allowed to judge people. Technically, biblically, you're allowed to judge people.
That's a line I don't really like to play with.
But you best be judging people against the Holy Bible and not against your own standards. Because if you are judging people by the standards and convictions that you personally hold, I don't understand where you think you have that power. Like, I don't understand how you think so highly of yourself that your person, and listen, we all have them. We all have them. There are things that Lexi wears that I don't wear. Literally. And that's to each his own.
Okay,
I
call
don't
me out.
think Lexi's wrong for having a different standard than I, but I'm certainly not going to hold my own personal convictions against her. I'm going to get riled up, so I'm going to bring it back down here.
I hope you do.
Just realize, I hope you understand that you actually don't have the authority that you think you do. You cannot hold your own. You cannot hold people to the standards. I mean, your own personal convictions or standards. And it's sometimes inconsistent. It's sometimes inconsistent depending on the
We
person.
don't have enough time for that today.
And I say all of that. Please don't understand. I am not, okay. I almost said I'm not a petty person. I try not to be a petty person. And in my maturity and my growth, I am really trying. So please, 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 if you have listened to this long, please don't misunderstand the fact.
Probably are probably going to exit out by this point because they're like,
Right. But if you've made it to this point, please understand I am not mad at any. I did have some hurt. I am not mad at somebody who doesn't like my stuff. I'm not mad at the fact that I'm the only one liking my Instagram post because I do it for myself, truly.
this isn't Tessa begging for likes, okay?
No. And please, that is not the point of this at all. I hope you took away that the point of this was like me seeking approval from people whenever I shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm going to say on that. This is talking about my struggles. Look at me being open with my flaws. I've conquered it.
Selfish.
Take it or leave it. Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it. I'm not even going to say the best part of the episode because this one we have just had some revelations. Okay, I have to get to them here. Please keep sending us your take it or leave it. We love
them.
We do. It's always going to be anonymous, you know. It's always going to be anonymous, but if you want it more anonymous, sistersinsesh@gmail.com. SESSIONSESH. Right?
Did you spell sessions in sesh?
I did. Rewind. SITS. Oh my word. SISTERSINSESH @gmail.com.
There you go.
We're going to get into this before I start I don't know. This episode has me geeked. It doesn't help that I don't have a brain cell. Okay. And if you could change one core personality trait, what would it be?
People
Well, I
pleasing.
covered that. I would say personality. Is that for real yours?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm a
okay.
great person.
One core personality trait. We can't have the same one. So,
yeah, you're right.
I'm going to say the fact that I need to clap back at anyone who says something. This mouth, man. This mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get it.
So this has been an excellent episode of things. Wow, things got deep fast.
Just hang with us, guys, because this one was all over the place, but also in the same area. So I don't know.
But thanks so much for listening. And of course, we love you and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.